There's this rap collective of 3 dudes. They're called Griselda.
Have we started?
Griselda. Yeah, just go ahead.
I don't know their individual rap names, but they got the blessing of Ghostface Killer. Maybe it was Raekwon. Shit, I don't remember now. Either way, it's one of them Wu-Tang boys.
Raekwon.
Yeah. Jasper turned me on to him. He's like, "Hey, man," because I was watching like a thing about the top 10 like worst albums of the last decade.
Yeah.
And he's like, "Hey, man, you want some of that good shit? Check this out." I was like, "Oh, okay." At first, I found one of the guy's voices to be a little annoying, but then it grew on me, and he was wearing this stupidly like huge coat, and I was like, "Yeah, he's charming."
How do you spell it?
Grisselda.
Welcome to the Wildly Uninteresting podcast.
Intros for losers.
Wildly uninteresting.
Uninteresting.
We decided to do a little bit different because I realized that Joe Rogan counts down in the beginning of his, and you don't want to be like somebody else because that's bullshit.
All day.
And also, did you see Sarah's going to have a panic attack if we didn't do the intro? She was like, are we doing the intro?
Well, I feel like if you're going to do something differently, you should tell us beforehand.
Hey, you know,
I like the chaos.
Yeah, it was just, we're going to chaos. Go with it.
Go
with it.
Whenever we play shows, I want as little preparation as possible.
Yeah.
You know, sometimes that works in the benefit, but then sometimes it fucking just messes everything up completely.
Well, yeah, if you want to look at it objectively, but subjectively, I like the not knowing.
Do you really? I think, though, if you have good artists with you, as far as like, especially in the music industry.
I certainly don't have that problem.
That's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
If you have good artists with you, they can kind of jump on. I mean, we know chord progression, we know counting, we know all that, so I'll just follow you. Especially like a drummer can follow a guitarist, singer a lot easier than anybody else.
Right.
And I feel like bass should be pretty easy because you're just hopping onto their notes.
Yeah,
Watch their fingers.
If nothing else,
Play in
pick
the
their
key.
fucking main finger and play that note.
And a lot of times, the drummer and the guitar player are the most syncopated. Mm-hmm. In sync. Synchronized. I'll go with synchronized. Are the most synchronized in the band. Usually those two people are like your bass line. Like that's where all the good
I
shit
found
comes
personally
from.
in my experience, it's me and whoever I want to play with.
It's just you and somebody else.
Yeah.
Yeah, man. So how's the band doing?
That's cool.
Yeah.
We have our first show of the year tomorrow.
Where's it gonna be at?
Yay.
Union Station.
Union Station. Yeah, I think you told us that.
They're closing down.
Oh.
So, no,
Because
it doesn't
you're playing
matter.
there?
No, because it seemed like it would be a solid venue, but it's not. It's a trash hole.
Oh.
There's
Okay.
like a
well,
sex
then fuck 'em.
swing on the bar side.
What the fuck?
Is that the one with the saw room in the back, like behind the stage where people can go and like smoke? It looks like a room from Saw. Remember that place? we
Yeah,
went?
dude, that we
Comedy
saw
club?
Mark.
Yeah, wherever
don't
that
know.
was. That was. I think that was Union Station. I swear to God.
We're going to
Yeah.
find out.
Yeah.
Hang on, I'll tell you right now.
I swear
Oh,
they
what
had
am I
like
doing?
writing
In
all
my
over
head,
the wall
it's
and shit.
that makes me think of Brewskis, but
Ooh,
I could see
yeah,
where that
yeah.
would be. It has the glittery floor in the big
Yeah.
empty room.
Glittery floor.
Hey, look at all this space we have and the sex swing.
What
well,
is-
that's
so-
not gonna save you.
In a lot of these places, there's a lot of bars and
on Blue
clubs going downhill. Like they're going out of business. Like what is it? I mean, you think of Phoenix Hill and what was the other one?
Well,
Where
they
all
were
the
doing
old
fine.
people-
Ben just wanted to sell it.
Oh, that's
He's
it.
like, I'd rather be a multi-millionaire than to keep this bar open.
Right?
Oh,
Yeah.
well,
Hell
check that out.
yes.
Who
So
wouldn't want to?
between that and Jim Porter's, I think he
Jim
got like
Porter is one of those things.
8 million.
Fuck
Yeah.
off.
Yeah.
Oh, I'd take my 8 million and go fucking
hell yeah.
sit down
Right?
somewhere.
Yeah, that is the same place. Uh-huh.
It is the same place. Yeah, it had like a weird room in the back where it looked like you were gonna get raped.
Here's the room.
No, it's behind that.
behind
yeah.
it,
Oh,
yeah.
you're not getting raped in a weird room. What are you doing?
Right?
No.
Strange. So
Yeah.
Union Station, everybody, if you want to go see them, they're next week. The show will be out by then. So if you're listening, go watch Ian
No, it's
and his
tomorrow.
band.
Yeah, if you're listening,
Yeah.
it's
Oh
too late.
shit!
Our-
Well, I could put it out tonight.
As
Yeah, it's
Right?
not
time
late.
as time
Hell
goes,
yes.
if you're listening to this now, our next show is in Nashville, so don't go to that either.
Ah,
But we're not playing in Bowling Green the next day anymore, so that
Damn,
makes me
dude.
happy.
Yeah.
No, because
Oh,
I was
you like
I
that?
was gonna stay the night in Nashville, I was gonna sleep on the floor of Demon Belly.
Yeah,
but
how's that going?
now I'm just gonna come home.
Oh, well.
It makes me happy.
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, is it the first time you're driving the Ford down there? The Ford?
The Fode.
Maybe. I don't remember.
That'd be awesome, dude.
I drove it down there for Matt Tastic's bachelor party.
Yeah.
That was
I
nice.
didn't know that.
Yeah.
Damn it, man.
Had the whole crew
The crew.
in it.
It's nice to have a...
There was a second car. It was two of Matt's friends, and Matt was in it, and they stopped like getting on to 65, like in Indiana.
Yeah.
And we rode by, and Steve threw a hot dog at their car, and they got pissed.
Fuck them.
Yeah, fuck them, dude.
It's
Pussy
ridiculous.
bitches.
You pussy bitches.
I thought it was
What's a
awesome.
fucking
though.
hot dog do? It's
I
not
know.
like it's gonna blow your car
a
up.
grenade.
Plus, it was
Yeah.
raining, so who
Yeah.
gives a shit?
Come on.
Like the mustard isn't gonna rinse off.
Shit. Yeah, if they weren't
Jesus.
looking, they wouldn't have known.
I did end up enjoying their presence though throughout the weekend.
Yeah.
That's good. Bachelor parties are a weird thing, man, because I know even at mine, you get so fucking super hammered the first night that the rest of you're just like, I don't want to do this anymore. Especially after you're 30 or something. You know what I mean?
See, I
you don't
learned-
fucking get drunk
Yeah.
like that.
It was like whenever we did, I think it was Omens. Whenever we did Omens bachelor party, like I got fucked. Oh,
The
it was
first night?
Sam's. It was Sam's. I got fucked up the first night.
Yeah.
Like Megan ended up giving me like something for nausea. She was like, "You look like hell."
Jesus.
So I took that, and I was just
Fuck
it
that
ruined
shit.
it.
Yeah.
So
That's-
yeah, but the first night was fun.
Something
that.
that if you're fucking getting ready to do your bachelor party or need a bachelorette party for that reason, take it easy. Especially if you have like 2 nights set up or a whole weekend, like
Yeah.
3 nights, Friday night till Sunday night.
Yeah.
Fucking just
Pace yourself.
pump the brake. Like don't let them get you drunk the first night because it never ends well. You want to
no,
go
no, no.
home by the
If you're
second
the
night.
bachelor or the bachelorette, you have no say in it.
Ah, fuck.
It's whatever the fuck your friends want to do to you.
Yeah, they.
But
I was
maybe
tore
take
up
it easy
terribly.
on your friend that you love and care about.
Right?
I was. The good thing is though, if you haven't stayed at a hostel before, have you ever stayed at a hostel? Go down to Nashville one time. We'll go down a weekend. Me, you, and her. We'll go down for a weekend and we'll chill out in a hostel, dude. They're like three or 4 bunk beds per room, right?
Yeah.
So you pay like this nominal fee. It's like $20 to $30, right, for this, one bunk bed.
Right.
But you got to sleep with these other people unless you want to buy the whole room out. Which, what's the point?
Yeah, you might as well get a hotel
Yeah,
room.
why spend 30 when you can spend 20?
us 3, if we went down, it'd be pretty much the whole room, right?
And
So
we
we're
just
together
gang
and we're
up on
comfortable.
whoever's in there.
Yeah. And
Get out of here.
so you get
Shut
drunk.
the fuck up.
All you're doing is sleeping, but they have these like this dorm room style open area where everybody congregates and hangs out and plays guitar or talks and whatever. It was the best filling place I've ever
Sells
done.
opiates.
Yeah, like I loved it a lot better than a hotel for sure. But it's like you have a lot of foreign people. I don't want to say it like that, but you know what I mean.
Like
From
not,
Europe and
yeah, just
British
out
people
of
and
out of
British
country.
people.
yeah.
I feel
Out
like
of the
people don't
country,
get
not from
upset if
America.
you call British people foreigners. It's just when you start talking about the brown people, that's when they get pissed.
They don't get pissed at the brown people.
You're surrounded by Brits. They're like, look at all these fucking foreigners.
Look at these
Nobody
foreigners.
bats an eye.
No, it's but yeah, it's just the community of people is puts you at ease. You think it'd be weird and like uncomfortable, but it's truly not. I wouldn't take expensive stuff down there for sure.
No, it seems like it would be like a collection of people that are kind of in the same mental space.
Yeah.
So if you're gonna go stay in a hostel, it's like, all right, here's what I'm getting into.
Yeah, I'm looking for a community and a place to sleep.
Looking to mingle, boy.
Hell yeah.
That's what we stayed in at my bachelor party, and but I mean, you're getting fucking wasted and going and laying in bed. Why spend $100 and something on a hotel?
Yeah.
Fuck that.
Fuck that.
One time, me and her went down, and I took like a gram of mushrooms. It wasn't even that much, right?
Yeah.
And I about lost my shit. I think you overstimulate yourself, and man, my brain was breaking down. I didn't know what to do. It was like, ooh, malfunction.
You're very sensitive to stuff anyway, so you can take a gram of mushrooms here and see some crazy shit.
Right.
I'd eat a gram and have no idea that I ate a gram of mushrooms.
I thought I was
Make
about
my
to
headache
die,
stop.
man. I couldn't. The only thing I could see is Sarah's hand reaching out for me to get me into the cab and get us out of the fucking downtown area. It was terrible. It was great after that, though. After I had that, and she got me out of town.
Yeah.
Enjoyed the rest of the night. Broke a champagne glass on
That's
the fucking
right.
the door of my next door neighbor.
Yeah.
It's nice, man. It's nice.
Intentional.
You and I both have done that.
Yeah. Very intentional.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I just wanted to see what happened. I was like,
We were there one time and
What did you expect?
just needed to know.
I had gotten drunk and I don't know how we ended up in this place. It was at the hotel, right? Where that wedding, it was like a wedding party was going on.
You were still in their chairs?
Yeah, and I was doing that, and didn't give a fuck. Like, I'm hanging out with the wedding party. What's up here? But I was breaking glasses and shit through the hallway and everything too.
Hell yeah.
There's two different people when Sarah gets drunk. Like, you have this one that parties and like, woo. And then you have another one that's like, you ain't nothing but a bitch. You always been a bitch, and I'm white. That's what she says every time. You got two people. I don't know what you would call the second one, though.
An asshole.
An asshole?
I'm either
Straight up
solid, just that's the person that you want to party with, or the person that no one wants to be responsible for, doesn't want to know. Yeah.
I got an uncle who cries every single time. About
He's
everything.
a bitch.
Yeah, no
and
kidding.
I'm white.
I'm white. I think he's a veteran, quote unquote, and I hate to do it like that, but
Yeah.
I think he got dropped in Desert Storm, was there like a couple days, and they picked him back up because it was over in no time. But he'll get drunk, and then sometimes he'll cry and be like, all these things I saw and all these people getting murdered and stuff. Then you'll see, he'll get drunk again and he'll just say, oh, well, I just went over, I shot a dog and we came back. And then sometimes it just
It was
depends
his
on.
covert mission.
Yeah.
You got to kill this one dog,
One
dude. It's
dog.
been fucking with our
I
stuff.
can only talk about it in so much detail, but man.
Yes, that's fucking classified mission.
Or you know when you can tell a Vietnam vet is when they have like a wife that is Korean and can't speak no English and they're old as shit and you're like, I know what you did.
They always wear the
Yeah.
hat to let you know.
Always the hat.
And they have that look about them, like, you know how I don't know, like dudes that build houses or like, I guess they tear shit down all the time. Like they constantly look like they're dirty.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like even if they get 3 showers, it doesn't matter.
Still fucking
Yeah,
dirty,
their
bro.
That is
hands,
part
like
of
their
the-
nails,
yeah.
everything.
That is a good way to
Yep.
put it because that's true as shit. That's what they look like.
Those are the construction workers of the war heroes.
Veterans, man, I fucking hate that they get such a bad rap. And like that was a terrible time in history.
Yeah.
History of the military, that was a very poor time. As far as like socially, politically goes, like I think that we could have done a better job of bringing them home and treating them well.
Yeah.
But I guess
That's
nobody
always the
agreed on it.
case, but
Yeah.
Always.
Yeah, it
You
is
think
always.
so? I guess
Yeah.
people down the shit out of the Afghanistan war.
Mm-hmm.
You know
Well,
what I
because
mean?
it was bullshit.
I'm with you. I'm fucking totally with you.
Yeah.
And I believe that we went over to seize oil, and then all of a sudden we took over like 90% of their poppy fields. Like,
Right.
they're ours.
You know,
now.
I think if people could separate the two things, because I understand having an issue with the war, but being supportive of the people who were fighting it is a completely different thing. I don't have
Right.
to agree with the war to support someone and be thankful to them for doing something that I don't want to fucking do. I mean,
and you have
Yeah.
to do it. Like I always say, you have to do it at this point.
But it's kind of like if somebody that you don't like has a seeing eye dog. Like you kind of hope that dog walks into traffic, but you also don't want the dog to die.
yes.
Do you have a lot of
strange.
blind
It's
friends?
strange.
No, but I saw a blind dude walking. Like I was coming back from Kroger by the new place.
Yeah.
And there was a guy with a stick just kind of slapping it around. I was like, well, I haven't seen that yet.
Well, good.
Now you have.
Now I have.
It's very interesting.
Yeah.
I don't. They say that blind people, like their other senses are heightened. It's like when our cat went blind, but it can still walk around and stuff because it uses its whiskers.
Well, and it's
and-
all the time fucking
sniffing
sniffing and
and-
shit.
well, I wonder like how. So say if I wore glasses that completely shut out all light in my visual field, if I would eventually gain higher senses as far as my hearing and my touch.
I guarantee it.
You think
Maybe
so?
even some invisibility would seep in.
I'm hoping so. Did you
That's
see that guy
what would happen?
that robbed a bank? We were watching something, and the guy robbed a bank, and then when he was getting locked up, and he was like, "How did you see me? I rubbed the lemon all over me." He thought that rubbing lemon juice on him was gonna make him invisible.
Yeah, God,
So
what
it
was there was reasoning behind it.
I feel like it probably
know.
has to do with invisible ink.
It's so fucking stupid.
Otherwise,
I know
he's
that
just
much.
an idiot.
I think he was just purely an idiot. But it is a true story. Like, the dude was really distraught because he wasn't invisible because of the lemon juice.
This guy sold me a bum recipe.
Yes. He thought the same logic for that lemon applied to him. Say it is invisible ink. He thought it applied to him. It's so
crazy.
fucking
I mean,
silly.
it should though. I don't like the whole thing of like.
It doesn't.
No. Come on now.
Doesn't,
Like
dude.
with the idea of like quantum entanglement and shit, and like it works on a micro level, but not on a macro level.
Right.
That's irritating.
It is irritating. You're right.
So why wouldn't the lemon juice work on the man?
Maybe you just don't have. He just didn't have enough lemon juice. Maybe he took like 2 lemons,
Yeah.
and really what
Not
he
enough
needed.
lemon
He wasn't
juice. Get
fully
the fuck
committed.
out of here.
Yeah, really what he needed
Welcome to
was
the
like
show.
an Olympic swimming pool full of lemon juice, and if he jumped in it, then he'd be invisible. We need to test this.
God, imagine jumping in and you've got like cuts everywhere.
Oh, yeah, definitely.
And then you start to scream, and then it goes in your mouth, and you choke on it, and you start crying, and it's
You fall and it gets in your eyes and shit.
Yes,
All right, so
lemon acid bath.
I got one for you.
Terrible.
We were watching
what?
this documentary the other night.
Yeah.
All right, and it's about genetic alterations, right?
Of goats.
Genetic engineering. No,
Yeah.
of everything, right? They
Okay.
found a protein. No, or was it a protein or a
Yeah, it was a protein that was in bacteria.
that was in bacteria, right? And it
Right.
attaches to certain DNA structures. So any DNA structure you need it to complete whatever DNA structure within you is
Yeah.
broken or damaged, right?
Yeah.
And all you do is you inject it. It finds its way into your chromosome to replace the DNA that is mutated.
Yeah.
Or
So it's like a wild card.
Pretty much.
Okay.
They specifically had something that you can go in your
pick which
DNA
one- yeah.
and see, okay, this is the one that's messed up. Okay, well, it's like copy and paste essentially, and we're going to cut that out and we're going to paste this in,
Yeah.
and now it's correct.
And
So
it's
okay.
called CRISPR.
it makes me think of stem cells and like the way they were hyping that shit up. Like, is it similar?
Kind of, because look, the dude was like injecting himself, which they've done it on like an animal level, right? With other mammals. And they've given it to dogs, and
Goats.
generation after generation. Then they get these big ass buff dogs and stuff. And I swear,
Hell
man,
yeah.
they did it
Swole
just to
chihuahua.
see.
Yeah.
But you're
That's a
talking
pit
about,
bull.
the one guy that was an ex NASA scientist, blah blah blah, was saying that you can just inject it, it repairs it, and then you have like powers, essentially, right? Well, that's not how it works. It fixes your DNA. It doesn't automatically change you. It would be generation. You have to wait a generation or two until it repairs that within your genetics.
Yeah.
Okay.
So it's not something that happens overnight.
So like you could remove retardation.
Yeah.
Essentially, yes.
Yes. Okay.
But just you couldn't do it for yourself, so
No.
it wouldn't help us.
But it would prevent like because I feel like I've made fun of retarded people enough in my life that if I ever have a kid, it would be retarded.
Oh yeah, for
Absolutely.
So
sure.
I could just say, hey guys, do me up,
Agreed.
you know? Let's get that out of there.
Do me up.
Yeah.
Hell yeah.
Medically remove my son's sins. Let's get it.
Shit. But the NASA scientist guy, he was trying to he was making up kits and sending it to people. If
You can buy them.
yeah, and you can do like experiments and shit in your house. He sends you
Yeah.
all the stuff so you can actually
Instructions and all that.
Nice.
Like a little kit of, like a science kit, but for real.
yeah,
You know what I mean?
but legitimately.
But see, the genius of that is that if you buy it and you use it, you don't know it works.
Right.
Ever.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, I guess you could technically get down to that microscopic level.
Well,
Yeah, but really, do you
but
know
who's
it's-
doing that?
Well, and
No,
they were
not
actually
most.
they were saying that it's much more expedient than, I don't know, something else or what they would expect. I
Yeah.
mean, I don't know anything else about.
It's more efficient.
Yeah,
Yeah,
so
I
they've
feel like
made
it's like that stuff though that he just said. The stem cells
Mm-hmm.
so slow growing at this point that who know they're hyping it up, but it might not be all
Although
that.
I mean, you
Yeah.
know, I guess now the difference is that that works on the long timeline and stem cells.
stem
Fuck
cells.
talking. God.
HPV stands for Harpoon Vag.
I think I've started to notice. I think I'm going down the route of becoming a stutterer. Like, what the hell is that about?
I don't know.
It's like starting to smoke when you're 30. It's like,
Yeah.
what the fuck?
You get nervous.
I thought I was set. No.
You
I
know,
just get excited and I
I
can't
think
say it.
honestly what it is, it happens with age where you just can't get the words.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, like your
It's
parents
terrible.
calling you 5 different names before they
Yeah.
get the
Or
right
Sarah.
Always.
one. Yeah.
Yeah.
That's something I want to do for sure.
Have we talked about how that doesn't happen with people that you know in life? It's always with people and their kids. Like they have kids, they confuse them.
Oh,
But I'm
that's
never
it.
like or Sarah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
seriously. We haven't talked about that.
No.
No. But
Yeah,
that's,
well, let's
Senior
certainly
night,
not.
we're
But
gonna
it's a
talk
thing.
yeah,
No.
now we've
Fuck
talked
that.
about it.
Yeah. Let's mark that off the list. Write that down.
Mark off list.
They had done, let's see, they were the field mice. They're incredibly prone to Lyme disease and ticks in their ears and stuff. So they have a whole generation of these field mice that they've made immune to Lyme disease. And they were talking about releasing them into the wild in this one community, but they were involving the community to ask them what their thoughts were if they would want that to happen. Because, I mean, it can have
genetic
huge...
engineering.
Yeah, you're changing
Population.
the species from what it is to something fucking different.
Completely different. Yeah.
Oh, they're not as prone to disease.
Right.
Let's not allow it.
That's,
Fuck
But
these
no.
mice. I like to watch them suffer.
But look, then this disease will find a new way to exist, which then means that the stuff that we have to prevent it, to cure it, to whatever, will no longer work. So you're making something that's, immune to diseases, but you're making diseases that we don't have vaccines for. So you're essentially starting society over in a sense.
Yeah.
And the NASA scientist guy, he was like, fuck it, just give it to everybody.
yeah,
like,
he was-
yeah.
He,
he was drunk
absurd.
the entire documentary.
He was
Realistically, I mean,
drinking constantly.
through the course of what?
I swear
Yeah,
to God,
the
he had a
entire-
In the
flask.
oh yeah.
Yeah,
whole
he was
show.
drunk the
He's
entire.
Rick.
That's exactly what I
Oh,
thought.
there you go.
Except Rick is fucking objective, and he said
But he also doesn't give a shit.
the dude said,
fucking
and I'm
Morty.
right. And this isn't like a direct quote. I'm summarizing. He basically said, "Fuck it. We don't need to think about the negative consequences. We just need to do it." That's
like
the
it.
most ignorant shit I've ever
I
heard in
like
my
it.
fucking
Yeah.
life.
Let's get it. Because
That
I mean,
is
on a
good.
long enough timeline, every disease and like virus and shit is going to naturally evolve anyway.
Yeah, so let that happen
Nah.
years from
'Cause
now,
if we-
not fucking
No,
now.
but if we speed it up now, we just get it out of the way.
But it's going to happen again. It's not just getting
So then
it
why
out of the
stop
way. Why make it happen sooner?
Yeah,
Because
why
it's
make it happen
inevitable. Who gives a
faster?
shit?
That's fucking stupid.
No, it's like I don't
Well, then
want to
kill
die.
yourself.
See?
Boom.
It's the same shit. Go ahead and fucking kill yourself.
Yeah,
you
but
should
but
like
then I have the fear. What if I'm wrong?
You won't have that.
And then
future
You
choice.
are.
And then it's like
Sorry.
in wrist cutters. I wake up and it's like this world just shittier.
Yeah.
I'm like, fuck. Shouldn't have done that. That bitch was right.
It's
But then
certainly.
I wouldn't be able to track you down and tell you. Unless
No,
I
you
climbed
wouldn't.
under the car seat, and I might end up here.
I feel like you could just think about it, and I'd be like, "Oh, damn it!
Damn it, I was right.
Yes, I
Hey,
knew
I
it."
was right. Fuck
So
you.
right. No, I think it comes down to genetically engineered. Like, okay, so once you start playing God, now you have a bigger effect on the entire Earth, not just like one or two people. A couple people die from your studies and all that shit. If you create something that is a beefed up form of hepatitis What, A is the worst one?
Hepatitis.
C. Well, technically, they're all very mild. Hepatitis C takes 30 to 40 years to kill you.
Okay. Well, we'll say AIDS in that sense, okay? So like AIDS on steroids, you're going to kill off a lot of people trying to work out the kinks, because I feel like at that point you're expediting these growths of these diseases are going to mutate faster to catch up with us, and by the time they strike us, that pandemic that they keep talking about is going to come much faster, and it's going to be much stronger, because now we don't know how the genetics work because we've mutated those, and we don't know how the disease works because they mutated themselves.
They're mutated
to catch up with us, and it's like, how do you stop that train? And I think somebody had predicted that the world was going to be pretty much insufferable by 2050.
Yeah,
we're just expediting the process of this global warming and all that, which still I believe that the globe is warming because that's what it does at a certain point. It gets cold, it gets hot. Time will tell, but they say by 2050 it'll be pretty much, we're going to be wiped out because it's going to be inhabitable.
I can see that happening.
I think they're just fear-mongering because it sells, but there could be a nugget of truth to it.
No, like I swear, I'm with you on that. I love to believe that. Like I think that they overplay absolutely everything.
Absolutely.
We went to Florida.
But who wouldn't?
Well, I mean, if it gets you money or clicks or whatever, I get it.
It's like when you're raising kids and you tell them it's illegal to drive with like the internal light in the car on.
Right.
It's like, oh yeah, we're gonna get pulled over if you don't turn that off. It's not true.
No.
But it's helpful.
It does. And they get
well, that's a fucking issue of people just not being honest with one another. Like, could you just say, hey, I can't fucking see, turn that shit off or get out of the car?
Yeah, my goddamn car.
I'll leave you here, bitch. You're not even turning around.
Mom,
You're just
I'm
out.
7.
Oh my car.
Should have thought about that.
Yeah.
No, but we went down to Florida one time and we were stopping off in Georgia, and there's this hurricane coming in that was just far too strong. And me and Sarah stopped in Georgia because we were like, oh, we might have to turn around, right? It's coming up through, and you have like Georgia on the news, like they had their local news, and they were saying how bad it was, and the trees were falling down, and it was a national broadcast, and how bad it was and all this stuff. And you've seen all this stuff, and they like picked the worst place, like next to like a lake and shit. And then we walked outside and there was absolutely nothing going on.
Nothing was happening.
No floods, no nothing. But the news made it seem like that there were floods and shit was broken. And we even got all the way to Florida where it landed, and it was perfectly fine. It was a sunny day. Nothing had been fucked up.
It was beautiful the whole time.
But they made the news believe that, or the news made people believe that it was just horrifying. Horrific.
Yeah, I took one day at work, and you know that there's that song in Twin Peaks, The Return, where it's like whenever you first see Mr. C or whenever Diane's doing the thing, it's like I threw that on loop one day, and there was this dude filming shit like in a hurricane.
Yeah.
And it was at night. And it was Buck.
Damn.
And he was just driving around, so I was watching the nighttime fucked up hurricane with that going,
That's
and it was
awesome.
beautiful.
It sounds wonderful.
Disaster.
Yeah. But no, I just think with the CRISPR shit, that people need to think about the possible consequences.
Yeah, play it out in their mind a little bit.
Yeah, that guy's a fucking idiot. You don't need to just give it to fucking everybody and call it a day. Don't worry about the consequences. Fuck
man,
it.
it'll be fine.
That's just nuts to me. I think it's a wonderful thing. I like the idea of the general population having access to it. I think that's great.
But my logical side is like, yeah, dude, do your best to minimize fucked up shit for the future. But then there's the other part of me that's like, chaos. Throw them dice. Who gives a shit?
I'm a fan of chaos because you can't really stop a train that's already headed for destruction anyways. Like, I think everybody's life is headed for destruction. One way or another, you're going to die of something.
Right.
So I think that's why we're in the position we are, because a lot of politicians and your billionaires and corrupt people, they don't give a shit because they're like, okay, I'm going to die no matter what, or the world's going to end no matter what. We can't stop it, so fuck it. You know, I think back in the day, our ancestors didn't think that way, and they were very in tune with the universe and the earth and the consciousness.
Well, there
and
were
all
also considerably less of them.
Yeah.
Right.
No shit.
Yeah, you got a planet full of 500,000 people. Who really gives a shit if people are fucking up?
that. Yeah.
So, yeah,
But even then, though, they were very conscious. Even your Egyptians and stuff, they were very universally conscious to the fact that this is the only planet we have. We got to take care of it.
Simmer down.
Please.
I mean, you're right. But, I mean, before the Industrial Revolution, there was no reason to even think about it.
Okay, yeah.
So for like the last 70 years or whatever the fuck it is, that's all that we've ever really had to think about. Before that, it was, who gives a shit? This is all natural.
Well, they said that
like they're styrofoaming it up in Egypt.
That
Bury me in this.
From the Industrial Revolution to now, we've done the most damage from the beginning of time all the way up to the Industrial Revolution. We've done more damage in the last 70 to 80 years than that combined.
Yeah.
Ain't that crazy to think about? We've done some serious fucking damage.
But I mean, it's also kind of like saying, since I've been playing the new Mortal Kombat, I've killed more people in that game than I've killed in my life.
Yeah.
Well, yeah.
You just started playing.
You just now have the tool.
I can see how that, can be put that way.
I would kind of like to know how many murders were committed, like, from the time humanity started until, like, 1980.
The murder count completely just all over the world.
Yeah.
Just all murder.
That'd be awesome.
I'm down with that.
Give me this knowledge.
I wonder if they have that on there. If there's any way to because there's a certain point where history really didn't, calculate their dead. And then you think about all the people that were in hits and that they were just disappeared and nobody ever found the body and they couldn't call them deceased. They were just missing.
I think they said there was like an estimated 40,000 people, like bodies just laying around.
That they don't know who it is or where it belongs. No shit.
Did I look that up on a podcast or did I just do that for...
No, I feel like that was your regular life.
That's your regular life for sure.
It was something like I think it was 40,000 estimated.
That they just don't know.
Wow, fuck the people. This is for me.
Well, yes. Let's see. How many people have been murdered? How would
Since the dawn of time.
I swear to God, I put since, and I was going to put the beginning of time.
Do that.
All right.
I'll say, on Earth, this many are suspected. In Nebula 1742.
So you're okay with genetic engineering at this point?
Hell yeah.
Yeah, is that where you stand on that? That's your life. So that's where you stand.
That's where I stand, boy. That's where I'm drawing the line.
With.
Hell yeah.
That's your final answer.
I say let's do it responsibly to a degree.
To a degree.
Maybe don't make people suffer needlessly.
Right.
But let's crack a few eggs.
Let's put it like Elon Musk put it about AI. He said it's far too late for us to start regulating now. Now we go into a process of people, they're just going to bring this shit out. It's going to be weaponized and all this shit, right?
Yeah.
And then we're just going to have to do this long, drawn-out period, like with everything, the chemicals that are in our water, we still haven't got to the point where we clean that out. So we're going to go through all this, like bill making and what's the other, regulations and all that, which take years and years and years. And we're just going to do all this destruction with AI, right? I think it's the same with genetic engineering and even stem cell research. They do all this in it. We're already to a point where it's too far gone. Say he's already given out, even 1,000 of those kits. Imagine what 1,000 of those kits have done to whatever they fucking injected it into. So we're already past the point of like regulating now. So now we just got to catch the fuck ups before they're too late. And try to regulate them as quick as possible. But that regulation process and the FDA and all involving all those people, it's so hard to get things done when they're obviously fucking bad. Like the dressers falling over on the babies. And, I mean, the chemical that's in your body forever, that's in Teflon, like just all that shit.
Dumping it into the water, like they don't give a fuck.
Not giving a fuck, dude.
Still don't give a fuck.
No, they just they altered it by one
fucking
hydrogen
molecule.
atom or some shit, and they were like, "There you go, take that."
I certainly
make it enough.
Make it enough.
I am definitely supportive of genetic modification and stem cell research and all of that shit. But unfortunately, I mean, it's just something that it comes with the territory. It's like this with anything. If you've never done something, you're going to have mistakes. So it applies to this shit too. It's just a bigger thing. It's
especially in something as complex as DNA.
Just keep the flamethrower next to the petri dish and you're fine.
And you're fine, exactly.
Kill it now.
This isn't how many people have been murdered, but this is how many people have died. About 100.8 billion have died. And this was in 2015. There were estimated to be 108.2 billion people ever to be born, and there's 7.4 whatever billion people. So 100.8 billion have died. I'm going to keep looking for murder, though.
Yeah, look for murder, because that's saying that just people who have born and died.
Yeah.
Oh, fuck that.
Yeah, that's
Still
just
a healthy amount.
It's a healthy amount. I would say you take 10% of that. I'd say 10% of that is murder. Murder.
God.
It's a big percentage.
Yeah,
Isn't it?
that's a big percentage.
14 times more people dead than alive.
I like
But-
those numbers.
So China has the coronavirus,
Yeah.
which that's another one. You
I haven't
think
really
of
looked
it.
into it. Like, I don't know the symptoms or anything.
They're mild, really, and they're not. So I looked up
Coronavirus
the
or flu or
coronavirus.
whatever. Corona
It-
something.
It started in China. I looked
It's
up
not a beer or a dick.
the, how it comes on, the symptoms, all that, and it's pretty much just like a flu,
Yeah.
with a little variation. But then, like it says that it can, in rare cases, be lethal. But if
Yeah.
you listen to the news, and they're like, one case has been in the U.S.
The regular flu can be lethal.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's
Who
what I'm
gives a
saying.
shit?
Like, they made it seem like it's the new pandemic, and really, it's the fucking flu, but they named it the coronavirus.
You're tuning in to CNN. Y'all are fucked now.
You're fucking.
The newest pandemic is upon us.
It's like the
feel
boy
like
who cried wolf on
Yeah.
a national level. Like, you're gonna like, we don't take nothing serious anymore.
If you get Asians with face masks, something's off.
I feel like all these viruses are always coming from China, right?
Always. What is that?
Always coming.
And they're not third world. They're developed.
It's because they don't have regulations and stuff like we do. Like, we have certain things
yeah.
that you have to do in terms of handling food and everything. Everything is
have
fucking
a lot of-
Eli and I were
regulated.
talking last night, and he said there was like I don't know, I don't remember if it was exactly this same thing, but like the corona thing and whatnot. But he was like, there's like some kind of disease controlled testing like lab center thing. It's like level 4 or whatever. And then it just so happens that around that area there was an outbreak.
Ow.
Yeah.
That's crazy, man.
What?
That's
We also need to get Easton on. He'll say some wild shit.
Yeah, I would
Yeah.
But,
love that.
That's so we talking about that though. They were
Also,
like
fuck
with
him.
CRISPR, the genetic engineering. They were like, dementia, Alzheimer's, these diseases can all be a thing of the past. Well, yeah, but not for
I'll
us.
take care of it.
Yeah.
No, you're good.
That's what you get. Don't be dreaming big on my watch, you old fuck. You're going to get your Alzheimer's and you're going to die.
We're not going to benefit from it.
Also, what is it with people whenever they say Alzheimer's? Like, I've noticed a pattern of people not saying Alzheimer's, they say Alzheimer's. What is that shit about?
At least they're not saying
All
timers.
timers.
Yeah, I've heard that shit too. It's like, what the fuck?
Alzheimer's.
That one
Do you hit a
gets on my
certain
nerves.
age and you just can't read anymore?
Yes.
Asperger's is another one. I think I just said it wrong.
No, you said it right.
Yeah, some people say that one wrong, and I don't know how.
Well, I feel like people should stress the P a little more in it.
Yeah.
Yeah, Asperger's.
Yeah, but I feel like it's also part of its charm. Oh yeah, Asperger's, dude.
Butthole burgers.
The first time
I got
somebody
the
asked,
disease.
people asked me for a book on that at Walden Books one time, and I started laughing. You have a book on Asperger's? Let me see. Our son has it. I don't know what that means.
I don't know
Yeah,
what that
I
But
don't-
let's see.
Yeah.
Let's see.
Like, I was going to search something totally different.
Yeah.
I
I was like,
recommend
am I spelling it wrong? Yeah, it's not Asperger's. Asp.
ass.
Oh, okay.
They can't find the book, and they're just like, "What is going on?"
What's happening? Maybe you have it too.
That's
A
right.
recommendation for books, if there's anybody out there who reads, I'm just coming up on the end of How to Change Your Mind, What the New Science of Psychedelics Teach Us About Consciousness, Dying, Addiction, Depression, and Transcendence. It's by Michael Pollan. It has been fucking captivating, dude. I think it's like an 18-hour audio book.
Yeah.
And I have went out of my way to try to finish it, which is crazy because you think like 18 hours isn't that much. But how often are you in like the car?
Right.
Where you have a time.
Every day.
No, I'm saying about like for how
I'm
long?
not.
What's the duration?
The duration of time. But
Lucky.
yeah,
know,
man,
it's nice.
it's a damn good book, and I don't want to go into. But the dude's like 60, and he was trying to like,
I don't want to give shit away.
yeah. I think
you
Michael
say?
Pollan's like 60, man, and he's trying to find like transcendent or the answer to these psychedelics and shit. And he has a good viewpoint because he's not one of those people who have done it. I mean, you know, he lived through the 60s and 70s.
Yeah.
And he's not one of those people that partook during that time like most people did. So it's a good review on it, man. Comes from a scientific standpoint. So I like it. But he also talks about the new research at Johns Hopkins and all that. I'm excited to see what comes from it. It's not a miracle by no means, but I think it's going to open us up as far as our consciousness.
That could be helpful.
Hell yeah.
An awakening,
A nice step in the right direction.
Yeah, if we can move into a time of awakening where we're self-aware and we're more compassionate and loving and caring and all that, I think that we could tackle these huge issues that right now are scaring the shit out of us.
I agree completely. I'm pretty much on the verge though of giving up on humanity as a whole, coming around to these things and like the thoughts and stuff. Because I mean, on a long enough timeline, yes, we will evolve to that level.
Right.
Yeah.
But even once the majority is at that level, there'll still be the minority.
Yeah.
Fucking
Where
shit
they're
up.
like, I'm just over here. This is how I live. You know,
I say we all
that's always going to be
decide-
there. So
Yeah.
it's just, how am I going to make me better? And then,
Yeah.
do I really even need to make me better?
Yeah.
Not like in an arrogant way,
Wouldn't
but
kill
like,
No,
you.
but you're
No,
pretty
I'm
happy.
joking.
yeah, but like no, like, as a no, like as a means that, like with regards to like relativism and shit.
Yeah.
It's like if I perfect myself, there's still scrubs around me.
Scrubs.
But that's if you listen to, like, you know, if you follow Jordan Peterson and Alan Watts, the key to changing the world is to fix that you inside of you, that
Yes.
I and the me, and bring them in harmony. And that is the only thing in this world that you can alter or change or do anything. You know, even if you're a billionaire and you built these companies, it's still the only thing that you can fix, right?
Yep.
Is you. So if everybody focuses on loving themselves and fixing themselves, being happy with that, I think that's how we move as a people.
I
So
think
many
that
people get
alone-
distracted from it, though.
And I think doing that alone, if everybody just decided to work on themselves and improve, like even the smallest amount, the changes that would happen in the world would be insane.
Be insane, right?
Yeah.
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 I think it'd
But then,
be
you know,
crazy.
we learn math at different paces, so we learn about ourselves at different paces, and then some people have shitty situations, and some people just don't give a fuck about
Right.
the world as a whole.
Yeah, some
So
people
it's
don't.
like a constant struggle with that.
Man. I think a lot of your unintelligent, ignorant people, they don't look at the world outside of them and their wants and whatever.
Which is
This
why
little
happiness
area.
is desolation.
You ain't fucking kidding. But that's something. I think you're right, man.
If you
we
love
can all
something, set it on
set it
fire.
fire. If we could change, if everybody could work on themselves, and it's funny how much of this life is distracting of that.
Yeah.
So I always talk about that, and we're like, oh, we'll shut down Facebook and stuff like a pretentious asshole. But it's honestly helped me pay it. There's a lot of stuff. Even now, I've gotten rid of like the Facebook and stuff, and we haven't turned the TV on till like 3 o'clock every day. Still, even that, I'm trying to find ways to like distract myself from myself. And I'm at, everybody does that. Everybody distracts themselves from the person that lives in here.
Yeah.
Is that crazy to think
I'm the
about?
person that lives in here.
That little guy that's locked up.
That
there.
little motherfucker.
Little motherfucker. But see, from like, I'm coming up on 30 now. We talked about that in a car ride. Is that like up until now, and I've done psychedelics when I was like 17 all the way up till now, and I've never thought about myself as like this part of this bigger puzzle. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I've always thought of me as like, oh, me, I'm an electrician, do my thing. Now I'm thinking outside of my brain, looking at myself like, how am I affecting those around me? And it's a weird.
I'm
like,
just another shit in this machine.
yeah. Does that I guess does that come with growth, age? Like everybody comes to that, or is it something that's just happening to me?
I think,
It's both.
yeah.
Yeah.
I think that there are a lot of people that, one, when you're younger, you're not capable. You're physically incapable of it.
Yeah, it's all just potential and shit, so why even bother with
Right.
looking at yourself?
But I do think that some of it comes with age, but a lot of it, I mean, you've been doing a lot of work on yourself and just trying to improve in general, and
Yeah.
it's having an effect. You're seeing.
I think eventually
It-
life will just beat you down, and then you kind of think, like, oh, all right, all this special shit that I thought, nope, not so much.
Yeah.
It's just Cue up.
Oh, yes.
Well, even with
Like
the
you fuckers.
the starting to work on myself, I learned that, I told you about, because I had fucking 250 pounds, like distracting myself from me and trying to like feed my ego and shit. And I've learned what I think truly matters. But when you start working on yourself, it's like how much I fucked up over the last 30 years. Like, not like fucked up in life, but in here. And I've locked things away and I shut myself down. So now that I'm trying to work on it, it's 10 times harder. And I feel like I'm making no progress because it feels like there'll never be progress. I feel like I'm so far behind. But maybe that thought of like it'd never be good enough is pushing me towards more and more and more.
If you start to document things, like whether it's like
journal
a
or
video
something?
blog or a journal or something, like you can look back on it and you're like, oh, fuck, I did change a lot. Because like I've read shit that, I've written down in the past, and I think I'm the same dude I was 8 years ago. And not at all.
Yeah,
See-
I was a fucking idiot.
Sarah started me on journaling, so I do my thing. I'm not really good at it because I'm still like I use my ego in it.
Yeah.
And I'm like, how do I word this to make it sound fucking artistic and shit in case somebody reads it when I die?
But then it's like,
You know what I mean?
yeah, I did. Yeah, I've done that. But then I try to stop that, and then it's like, well, why am I stopping that?
Yeah.
Yeah. It's like I'm just
So now
trying to
you're like-
secretly be better than
Hell
that.
yeah.
Yeah. Now you're like logging. Now you're thinking about it. You know what I mean? And you're
Dude,
trying
that's
like.
so fucked. Y'all's brains are fucked. I don't. I can't. I've for the longest time journaled. I mean, as long as I can remember. I don't really do it quite so much now.
You're the one that got me started doing it.
I don't do it like I used to at all.
I say
I,
dare
I'm
you
not
slow
on
down.
point with it. I'd skip days and stuff like I shouldn't. But
I used to. It was every day, like multiple times a day. I was always writing about shit. And I've never had those. Maybe when I was younger, I don't know. I can't vouch for younger me, but current me, I don't think that. Like, how can I word this the best? Why
Really?
would I stop that? Yeah, no, because I can't. I don't have another way of wording shit. That's my problem, though. I'm just too fucking stupid.
See,
I
it's-
can't.
or stubborn.
Like it's
Maybe
not just the
stupid.
wording of it though. Like it's the wording, it's the perspective from which like you would tell the shit.
Yeah.
It's like how
How would somebody else interpret it?
yeah, like how honest do you want to be in the writings of stuff? It's like if
Yeah.
somebody did find this, I would like to be remembered like this. But then it's
Yeah.
like, well, maybe I would like to remember me like this because I'll
Right.
forget this shit. And then
Fuck
3 years
all
later,
of
I'm like, why did I say it like that?
Yeah, that's
Ah,
so
doesn't
stupid.
matter. It
I
makes
don't
me think of
even
this.
understand this.
A good perspective was though, like after I got to talking to her, and I listened to a couple like Eric Thomas and famous people, Will Smith, all these people, even Oprah. They were like, it's crazy. Their view on it is like when I write it down and it's on a page in a 2D plane, like it's reality now. So if I like write down a goal, like we've wrote down goals before and then hit them without even knowing it.
Yeah.
Because just that on paper brings it into the world, out of your mind into the world. So even if you don't get around to that goal or that ideal for years, it's sitting there waiting. Like it's in the
Hell
in the
It's
workings
like if
in the
we
world.
left this here for years and then came back, oh, okay, well, I'm gonna drink this water now. Like,
Finally, yeah. So when you put an ideal out on paper or whatever, you're putting that ideal out, and then it's building itself. Like the universe is going to take care of it. You just have to believe that that's real, and then let the universe do what it does. You know what I mean?
So like I had done that in terms of like I guess writing ideas and shit in my phone.
Yeah.
But recently I started writing them on index cards and putting them in a desk drawer.
Oh,
And it already feels more real than having it in my phone.
yeah.
You're doing that now?
Hell yeah.
Hell yeah.
I don't like putting stuff in my phone. I will, like, if I don't, I carry a notebook with me everywhere. I will, though, if I happen to forget it or something. But I don't, it's not real in my phone. I have a journal that or not a journal, a planner that I use. I put everything, I put the podcast in there. Like, I know when we're doing it, but I have to have it written down. To me, it's not real if it's not here, I guess.
Yeah.
I've never thought about it like that.
Yeah.
But this, I'll fucking forget to look in here, and then I'll be like,
Dude,
oh,
I
fuck, I was supposed to go to the doctor a month ago.
I have a shitload of pages that I haven't looked at.
Yeah, and the phone, it's like, okay, well, here is for whenever I take the time to write it down and make it real. It's not like, this is the final note.
Yeah. I just the other day went through my notes in the phone, and I would have all those moments where I'm like, oh, fuck, I need to remember this. Open my notebook, put it in. And there were, oh my God, there was so much shit in there. And I'm like, I don't even know what this means.
Yeah.
I don't know what this is. I consolidated, and I think I have like... That's what it is. That's all you can see now. It
Holy
was,
shit.
You could scroll and scroll.
That's some wild consolidation there.
Yeah.
Hey, I can get rid of this. This food list.
Right? That's what I had like 12 of those. That's ridiculous.
You can drown anyone in a big enough toilet.
You know, I wrote down.
Fuck yes.
You were saying that I wrote down one. I was having a dream where I was like, I'd kidnapped somebody, right?
Yeah.
And the person calls me and was like, "We want proof of life." And so to give them proof of life, I forced the person that I had kidnapped to fart in the phone. And I was like, "You gotta!" I was holding a gun. "You gotta fart right now,
Fart, motherfucker! You want to eat lead? You'll cut a biscuit."
And that was their proof of life. I was like, "See, they're alive."
Yes.
I was like, "Who has dreams like that?" But
oh, that did sound like his fart. I know that gas anywhere.
Hell yeah.
whether it's
I'd be like, I need to smell it to know it's him.
Yeah. Put it
whether
closer. I can't smell it.
whether it's a coincidence or whatever, if by design, whatever, all these famous people, or these people that made their dreams come true, or people that ran a race and came in first, after the 9th try because they, wrote it down on a piece of paper. Like, so many people say the same thing. You got to write your goals down. You got to, create a vision board of sorts in the book, but not just write them down like, I want $1 million by 2021.
Right.
You have to be like, I want $1 million from doing these services to these people.
This is how
for
I'm
this
gonna
amount,
do it.
yeah, this amount of money. I'm going to have this by a certain month. Blah blah blah.
Yeah.
You have to detail it as specifically as possible so that the universe knows how to put your plan together, because it doesn't know. You do. And if you don't put it out there, it's never going to know. But all these famous people have the same story. Even you look at Steve Harvey. He has that story. And the second he was going to give up, that phone call where he was going to give up, he checked his messages instead. And sure enough, he had a show at the Apollo. It's all history after that.
Yeah.
You hear me? Like, it can't be untrue.
Yeah.
If 100, 200 people say the same fucking thing without talking to one another.
Right.
You get me?
Hell yes.
I feel you.
I feel you.
But I'm trying to get better at that, because it's hard to change your mind, because you're used to, bad things happen, and that's only for the rich and famous, and that's only good. It's hard to change your mind and be like, do good self-talk and all that shit.
I want to be
so
this, but this is me.
Yeah,
But I want to be this, but this is me.
Yeah.
And then you have that talk, and every time you write a go down, you're like, well, I can't get that. I've been this way for years.
Crazy to
I'm
me
gonna
is
change.
people are so dismissive of themselves.
Yeah.
Just,
most people should be.
whatever. Most people should be, but not everybody.
Not everybody.
You're
Believe
the-
in yourself anyway, bitch.
You're the
Yes.
most complex, well-designed creature in the known universe, to a point where we cannot explain it fully.
Right.
And you don't think you're more powerful than working at, like, a burger place flipping hamburgers?
Yeah. Not giving my
Hamburger.
man 2 when he orders 2. Give him 1.
Yeah.
Fuck you.
It goes back
Do
to
better.
people with negative self-talk, and people who just refuse to change that mindset. You know what I mean? I'm trying. I'm not, like I said, I'm not good at it. I'm not the shit. But you can ask her, dude. I'm struggling with it. Like,
Look, but even right now, you're talking
Look.
shit about yourself,
Yeah.
and you are good at it. You're
Look.
doing a wonderful job.
Yeah, but
you do shit every single day.
you see me struggle, though. Like, every day I struggle with it.
Mm-hmm.
You're also really good at talking down about yourself.
Dude, I'm fucking good with negative self-talk, bro. Come at me. You hear me? Come at me.
Yeah.
What is
Come
it
at
about
me.
like, burgers and shit from places? If they put the condiments on properly, it's cool. But like if you dip it in ketchup, it's just not the same.
Oh, I don't know, dude. I dip
go into that.
absolutely everything.
That's
Dipping.
a really great question. I hate dipping or I shouldn't say I hate dipping because
Yeah.
I like dipping fries, for example. I don't like shit on my fries.
Chicken
but
nuggets.
Yeah,
Chicken
nugs. Definitely dip some nugs. I even dip salad. I don't really like dressing on my salad. I'll just...
She dips her
dip
salad.
it.
Yeah, she's
Nugs
fucking
and grindage.
Yes.
grinded.
But hamburgers, and no, I'm not dipping that shit in ketchup. Fucking put it on there. It's
Yeah.
weird.
That's weird.
But the
yeah.
ketchup tastes different that they put on it. I think because it sets out in the open for longer.
It's so good.
When you dip it, it's different when it's in that package. You know what I mean?
Hell
Adam's
yes.
got the pedo glasses on.
Yeah,
Now
got
it's time
them
for a
pedo.
session we call heavy breathing. Yeah!
That was a very good segment. We need
You
to
got
keep
that.
that one up.
The old Chomo 350s. Chomos. No, man, that's
shit.
it's something I'm working on, but it's a daily struggle though, because like I feel like I'll make 200 yards of progress, and then lose 400 yards the next day because I'm like, you have good and bad days. I'm
And
trying
then
to.
it turns out you're
pump
just
the
losing
brakes.
200 yards, and it's all your stupid wrong perception.
Yeah.
It's all perception, right?
Yeah.
It does always feel like losing progress is like, oh, there goes all of it.
All of
But when
it,
you're
yeah.
making progress, it's like, well, that's insignificant.
What
We
are
talked
the
about-
demographics of heaven is the title of one of these.
Oh, God. Well,
It's,
I
we
think
were
we can safely say rich, uptight, and white.
what?
Yes.
Or Hispanic, because there are a lot of good Catholic Hispanics out there.
Hell yes.
It's I was watching a Jordan Peterson thing where he was explaining like addiction or like, how to get off a drug and stuff, and he was talking to this guy that played games too much, and he was like, well, how long
Wait,
do
do you mean
play?
like video games? Or like,
Video
man,
games.
you play too much.
Video games.
Quit playing.
He he was like, I play 8 hours a day, right? And Jordan Peterson was like, come up with how much time do you do it? Calculate. He was like 8 hours a day, right? Well, he was like, well, try to drop that by half.
Drop it by half!
and change it. And then so he comes back after a week or 2 weeks, and the kid had fucked up, and he took an hour off each day instead of the half.
Yeah.
But he was beating himself up. He's like, I fucking failed, and I'll have to just be a game player, And
It's me, man.
and Jordan Peterson looked at him and was like, what are you talking about? You you dropped it by an hour every day, and then he calculated over a year and showed this huge progress marker, and the kid was like, I didn't think of it that way. He was like, yes, because your perspective is wrong. Like, as long as you're making even the slightest of a fraction increment to better yourself a day, like that's better than making none at all.
Right.
And just saying, fuck it to the wind.
That's incentive to pick up pennies.
Right?
Don't just get them quarters. Get them pennies, you lazy bitch.
That's right.
Dollar bill, y'all.
So-
I will forever be lazy, though.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'll get a nickel. I'll get a dime.
Nickel
Pennies?
No.
They have to be at least 3.
on the ground.
I
through
pick
the pebble.
pennies up all the time.
As long as it's on heads, though,
Did you
right?
guys see that
Yeah, if it's not, I'll flip it and leave it.
John Cusack has been kind of campaigning for Bernie lately?
No.
And I thought it...
Get him, Q.
Because Bernie re-blogged, I guess, on Instagram, I think, where Cusack was giving a speech. And then I thought it would be kind of cool if Cusack became part of his donation collection crew, and he's just like, send us your $2.
Yeah, dude.
And I'm like,
Please.
yes, take my money.
I give you $2 every time I see this advertisement.
Just keep it covered. It's gold. But that didn't happen.
Oh, shit.
I think Cusack's wearing a beanie, and it makes me think that he's dying of cancer.
Yeah, he's
So I
trying to
think-
cover right up.
Yeah, it's like, wait a minute. Your hair always looks cool. Why are you not? What's happening now? I don't know. It is winter, though, so I mean, it could just be cold.
Yeah, he was cold. It's
Maybe he's
okay.
not dying.
He's probably not.
That's all I got.
From the early
That's
60s
all about John Cusack.
to the late 70s, homicide rates doubled in the United States. But I
What?
still can't.
Find the cause.
Hold
of
on, what
that.
was the dates?
From the early 60s to the late 70s,
Really?
increased.
With all that mob activity before it, all that?
Yeah.
And it doubled.
It increased
I
from
guess 'cause there's more people.
4.6 per 100,000 to 9.7 per 100,000.
Yo, that's crazy though.
Yeah,
Because the mob was just like killing motherfuckers. Like they were just like, fuck him all. Like everybody must die.
Man, that made me think. I listened to a Nicki Minaj song the other day, and it pissed me off because she rhymed nothing with nothing, but she said it in a way where it's like, yeah, see, I'm saying a different word.
It's
Fuck her and fuck that.
I hate when they do that
Although
shit.
there is that Forces of Evil song where he's like, I know you shouldn't rhyme shit with shit.
Yeah.
But, you know.
Hell
like,
yeah.
alright.
But that's awesome.
Yeah, that's self-aware.
Yeah.
There's a T.I. song when he rhymes children, 3 or 4 times in the same verse?
Every time it's children. Children,
I mean, what is
actually.
it? Okay. Don't ever do that thing where rappers get flowing and they'll say something and then they have that word that they tag onto the end of it to where like it rhymes.
Oh,
and
yeah.
then they just keep using that word.
Yeah, and it's over. Yeah. Usually it's the N-word.
Well, yeah.
And they're like, blah, 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 N-word, blah, 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 N-word. And it's like, come on, man, just rhyme something different.
Well, they haven't figured out that they can rhyme figure with it.
You figure?
Right.
I do want to take back something I said last week about the new Eminem record. Actually, I went back and I listened to some of the other tracks and stuff. I think I gave it like that quick look, and I was like, oh, fuck, this is same as always. But he actually did very well on a few of those tracks.
I listened to the first 3 songs the other day.
Were you
It
mad
seemed
at
like
it?
it was off to a good start.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think I just had this perception of like, oh, his rap has been crap lately.
Crap rap.
I know, crap rap.
Well, I mean, he said like in one of his songs, like he kind of crapped on Recovery or whatever the fuck it was. Yeah. And he's like, even when I make a shit album, I sell more than you motherfuckers.
Yeah.
Fuck
And
yeah.
he tells the truth about it. It's fucking completely true. Even Kamikaze, I didn't really like that much. Or the one before it. Like, but I will say that he's getting back on track. And like he said, and one of the things, like, he's 40. How many big time rappers that were 90s rappers are still making #1 albums today?
Right.
Not many. You know, he's still staying in the media, and he's still staying in other rappers' mouths and fucking.
That's right.
You know, so I give it up to him, and I will say the new CD is better than I had said it was last week.
We looked up a list of rappers, like, I don't know, popular rappers of today or whatever. And a lot of them were still those dudes that, like, have been around for years.
Oh, yeah.
There aren't a whole lot of...
Today,
'cause,
yeah.
I mean, I feel like I think Fetty Wap was on there.
Oh, yeah.
And, like, Lil Uzi Vert.
God
But
damn
beyond
it.
that, it's like,
Why
oh,
would he
well,
be on that
here's Drake.
Yeah.
Oh. And who could give a shit about Drake anyway?
Well, realistically, there aren't that many good rappers.
No.
You gotta fill the list with somebody.
I like how some of those kids are like, well, Post Malone, they'll put in the rap name.
Yeah, he
I'm like,
was up
he's
there.
not a rapper, though.
It was like number 8, I think.
Yeah, he's more of like an R&B rap.
Yeah.
I don't know.
It's
Well,
all the
and-
same.
I
It
feel
is.
like...
Fucking and killing.
Fucking and killing.
Yeah.
Krillin.
Hey, that's the follow-up to Peach Drank a Champagne.
I
Fucking
think-
and killing.
Anymore, it seems like that's what rap is, though. Like, really, that's not, like, true rap, but it seems like that's what it is now. If you were to ask, like, if you walked into any high school and asked about rap, they would name someone who raps like that.
Oh, yeah.
Probably.
That's
Well,
this incarnation.
Yeah.
It's what you like. I'm sure there was a bunch of bands I listened to growing up from the time I was young until 17 or 18, and I just thought they were God's gift to music, but in reality they were shit. It was just maybe something
just
clicked
fits at
in my
that
ear.
time.
Yeah, man. Like you had that. There's a bunch of them that I can
And I
think
think of
of.
Newfound Glory. I
There
don't give a
you
fuck
go.
now.
I could
They
give a
were
shit
gold
less.
at the time.
Yeah.
Still go back and listen to them every once in a while, and it's fucking great.
Yeah.
And you think too, your hormones played into that time of your life, so it could have been the most emo shit, and then you listen to it
yeah.
now and you're like, what the fuck was I doing? Like Dashboard Confessional or something.
I was in my feelings
Whatever,
before being in my
Dashboard's
feelings
awesome.
was a
Whatever.
phrase.
You can't say that and then
They
also say
have their
Dave Matthews
moments.
sucks.
Hey,
Dashboard's
is he putting out a new
awesome.
album?
What?
Has he?
Is he?
I believe so. I
I feel
mean,
like I
he's still
saw
not
a
done.
thing where it's like he's working on something, but it could have just been one of those little
Oh, yeah.
ad stories.
Yeah.
Like, oh, look at that. He's working on something. Click me.
So
New album.
I need to tell you all this. I just noticed that this government website, it's bjs.com.
BJ? So
Big junky shit.
I think so. He had one that came out in 2018 that was called "Come Tomorrow." I don't know if he might be working on something now, which I think that they're always working on something.
Yeah.
Yeah. So at the end, there's like a new version. Of course, he puts out like concert versions of those albums. So he'll do Come Tomorrow, and then he'll have like an album or two of tour music. You know what I mean? So he's been doing that since the beginning. Like he never come out with like a greatest hits.
Here's how we're laying it down now.
Yeah.
This is our fish version.
He'll get them at like Folsom Prison. He did them at like in New York in the park, and
It's got to
all
be
these
one at
other
Red
ones.
Rocks.
Yep, there's
Everybody wants to be
Red
John
Rocks.
Tash.
Right.
But that's what I always like. I like live music way better than I like recorded stuff, to be honest. And
I want to, but I
Really?
Yeah.
You don't like
I
it?
don't know.
whatever.
Well, whenever they do shit like in the studio, like everything is controlled and it's as it's intended. But whenever
Right.
you do it live, you lose some of that control. So it's like, well, here's the essence. Now, if you catch them on a good day, there's more emotion in it. But in general, it's like, well,
Dave Matthews has a live one, and I forgot where it might be Folsom Prison, man. And a lot of the songs, it's almost like he forgot the words, so he just like mumbled some shit. And he does it like throughout the entire album. It's crazy.
yes, that's good.
But it's
feel
exactly
okay.
what you're talking about. It's
Yeah.
just like he forgot them or he got too fucked up and he was like, well,
Plus, like
just
if a
mumble.
band's live releases are too good, it just makes me doubt how live it is. Because I mean, you can go in and like overdub shit and
I will say
fix things.
Hell yeah, you can.
I thoroughly enjoy seeing bands play live. Typically, I usually enjoy that. It's almost always, in my opinion, better than the CD. There are some CDs that I want to listen to, I guess, more than I would want to see a band live. I think in general, though, I like live music more than I like recorded and the structure and the control and all that shit. But I really don't like live albums.
No.
Except for Dashboard. I like that live album. And No Use for a Name. So there's two that I can think
I was
of.
thinking Thrice did a solid one.
I haven't.
But I mean, they're one of those bands. They're a rare exception.
yeah.
They're just too fucking talented anyway.
Yeah, they're just a little fucking glimmer.
Yeah, they
of
could just shit
excellence.
gold.
Yeah, everything is fucking perfect. But I haven't heard the live one. I didn't know they had a live one.
I used to just think of shitty bands though, like playing live, because it's like, oh well, here's my band. I'm touring. Come support us. And there are like 50 people there. Half of them are in their boyfriend's hoodies and shit.
What the
And then,
fuck?
yeah.
I've
It's
been
all a
to-
small production. But I also, I guess, large production, I think, well, Blink 182. Mm-hmm. They're fun live. Not nearly as good as on the album. That's why I didn't go see Angels and Airwaves.
Yeah.
So
I
thought,
don't know
I
about
love
seeing them
them
live.
But to see them live, I feel like it would just...
It really does depend on the band. Angels and Airwaves, I don't think would be a good one to see live.
Like brand new, great live, right?
something.
Great live.
Yeah.
Tom Waits, great live.
No.
Yeah.
I think I don't know. I've never seen
You
him. He
don't
probably
like
is.
Tom Waits, fuck you. No, it's cool.
I can't think of very many bands that I don't care for that I've seen live. Deftones
The Used.
were terrible. The Used was awful.
God, they bummed me out.
Yeah, because that CD is fucking gold. That first one. I've not
Yeah.
listened to anything after it, and I don't want to.
And like with the Deftones, like I've never seen them live, but I can't imagine it
They
would
were
be.
horrible.
Yeah.
It was unidentifiable. I was like, is this who we're supposed to be watching? I truly had no idea who it was.
That's how I feel about Alkaline Trio when they start playing a song live, but then like 10 seconds in, I'm like, oh, yep, let's get it. They're still cool live.
Hell yeah. Mm-mm. But live albums, no.
Man, I listened to Less Than Jake the other day, that album Borders and Boundaries.
Yeah.
I hadn't listened to it in forever.
Yeah.
But I took it in a different way now. It's like, oh shit.
You interpret it
Yes.
entirely different.
Yeah. Because like
It's
all the
very
crap
good.
makes so much more sense. Like, oh, I've actually lived some of this stuff now. It's
Yeah.
not just, hey, there's a cool song. Because, like Mr. Chevy Celebrity, it's like Mark Cruz, that guy's drinking too much and passing out. It's like, in my head, it was just this cartoon image of a guy. But it's
Hell
like,
yeah.
oh, yeah, I know people like that.
Fuck yes. We listened, I think it was on our way home from our honeymoon. I think it was. I got on a big kick
Oh,
and I
yeah.
started listening to Less Than Jake. And I usually don't listen to Borders and Boundaries. I say usually, like I haven't listened to him in a long time. But it's not one I usually listen to. And we definitely did. And it was good. It was good as fuck.
Hell yeah.
Quite enjoyed it.
Good as fuck.
It is when you, and it really, I always talk about Dave Matthews, which I always love his old stuff, but I haven't listened to like the new albums and haven't stayed current because my taste changed over the years. You know, now I still pick out music that sounds like them. I think, kind of, but I feel like for what they were a hell of a band. You know, they did a hell of a job making what they made. But I don't know, man. Something else I thought we were looking up. I want to bring this up.
He just wanted to change the subject.
No, we were looking up
That's awesome.
where the Australia wildfires had hit, right? And you see this completely just black forest, floor and the trees
Where's Australia?
in Australia.
All right.
Okay. I don't know where it's technically at.
It's
No, I
over
know
by
where it is.
Africa,
I just
right?
thought it would be funny to ask.
Oh, okay. I was like, it's down and over.
Wait.
Go ahead and explain to the listeners where Australia is.
So I was thinking, we were looking these up, and it was insane to see these like new trees coming out, or they were new, whatever they were, these fucking trees that were bringing themselves up. Because there's a lot of seeds or plants that will not germinate without wildfire. And the wildfire, what it does, it cleans up the forest floor, brings it back to new, and then new growth happens. It allows new growth.
Yes.
But
There's
I
a
thought about this.
song,
Nice.
There's a
Tequila the
song?
Dawn, with Jordan Peterson.
Nice.
Oh,
Damn. I did not know that.
nice.
Nice.
Anyway, continue.
So the thought is that the Earth has a fail-safe, and this is the fail-safe. So we set in motion all these
Season of the
fucking
life rolled
wildfires, right?
Yeah.
The wildfires bring out the germination of this certain
Thing
plant,
deal. Yeah.
right? That also, pollen, when it releases its pollen, is a deadly disease that you have no cure for. The Earth, he's like, well, if they fuck it up again, or she, if they fuck it up again,
Yeah, it's Mother Earth, you sexist fuck.
yeah, I know. If they fuck it up again, like they always have in the past, look, this tree will fucking wipe them out, right? So it germinates, the tree grows, releases this pollen out to kill us off. Maybe leaving one organism, we evolve again, and blah blah blah. But it made me think about that because that would be perfect.
Yeah.
This
It's a solid fucking idea.
Right.
Like some deadly disease.
Here's some new trees, fewer people,
yeah.
balance.
But it
yeah.
pisses me off where people are like, oh, these fucking wildfires, which I know that there's substantially a lot more than normal, but they, in the Amazon, it has to happen. So the trees start to decay. They drop, their limbs and all that on their forest floor, along with a lot of other debris. The only way that the forest knows how to clean itself up is a wildfire. Mm-hmm. And they're actually needed for certain plant life to germinate and grow. So all these people that are fucking mad about it, well, sometimes it has to happen.
It just shows that if people don't know stuff, they just get so mad about shit. Like how much like a wildfire can be blown out of proportion. But like if you fucking read about trees, like
Right? Well, with the Australia thing in particular, people were trying to blame it on global warming
yeah.
instead of the fact that there was arson involved.
Yeah, hey, it took me a while to see that, but they were like, there was an arsonist that was, or at least that they were trying to track down the lead to the arsonist. I'm like, well, like, what the fuck?
What the fuck is right? That's insane.
People twisting things for their own agenda.
Yeah.
Idiots. Whatever.
Idiots.
Fuck 'em. The thing I'm most mad about, god damn it, man, koalas.
Yeah,
know.
that's what Sarah said, that you probably have the worst
dude.
about the koalas.
I hate it. Like
Yeah.
all the people all the people on Australia could die, and I'd be like, well, I mean,
Yeah, it happens.
100 koalas. I'm like, we have to stop this.
Yeah, I'll go over there and pull them all out
I
myself.
saw there was a video of this kangaroo. This lady saved it, and like it wouldn't
Nice.
stop hugging her.
Aw,
It was so cute.
what
Oh
the
my
fuck?
god,
dude?
dude.
I
That's
know.
It's gonna make me cry.
That's awesome, though.
We just came from a wedding. I am too emotional.
Too emotional.
I'll do that.
I cried as soon as he walked down the. As soon as he started coming, I started crying. I was like, "What
Yeah.
the fuck?"
God, whenever chicks start walking down the aisle, like, that's when I really start to judge the ceremony. Because I'm like, oh man, what are their vows going to be? Do they mean it? Are they doing
they
this
mean
because
it?
they are genuinely like in love? Or
Yeah.
is this just utility
we
at
gotta
this
do
point?
this.
Yeah.
Yeah. Did she break him down? Did he break her down? Did she
Yeah,
cheat
dude.
on him and he's just trying to lock this down now? Like,
Fuck yes.
What's happening?
Is she pregnant
it.
and he doesn't know?
But then they say, yeah.
Yeah, I
And
swear.
they say the vows, and I'm like, okay, I get a better feeling of this.
Every time.
All right, they're good. They have my blessing.
It took you.
Or like, well, fuck it, open bar. You're not gonna
Open bar,
last, but
dude.
I'm gonna get loaded.
Fuck yeah.
Congrats.
Anytime we've
Makes
gone
everything so
to
much
a
better.
wedding since our wedding, I'm just like, none of these weddings can fucking hang with our wedding.
Of course you feel that way, though.
I know.
I would hope so. Unless you're back there just hammering beers, like it'd never fucking be this good. We had friends, right? And this chick had been like fucking hounding this dude to marry her. I think they're both legitimately alcoholics. They haven't admitted it yet, right? And just fucking hounded. I think they're in the 40s, they're on the verge of 50. Just pretty much begging this dude, and he just doesn't want to, right? We go to a friend's wedding, and they were there, dude, and she was in the back just getting fucked up, dude.
Yeah.
And by the end of it, she's yelling at him and screaming
Yeah,
at
dude.
this girl's wedding, like, you won't ever fucking marry, we'll never have this.
It was awesome.
Didn't she?
Yeah, it was
And then
fucking awesome.
she got to a point where she was like, fuck this. I'm going to pretend like this is my wedding, and we're just going to be married. And the dude was like, I'm like, dude, shut her the fuck. Take her home. It's like a baby crying.
Yeah.
Shut her. Shake
You
her.
pretend that all you
Shake
want.
her.
Tomorrow's a divorce, or
Put her in a forest fire. Get her the fuck out of here.
It would always bug me. I'm like,
only
dude,
you can feed terrible women to forest fires.
That's right.
Only you.
Do your civic duty.
If it gets to that point, like, you got to beg somebody. Fuck
I
begging
know.
somebody. Go sing that pussy to somebody else. Somebody marry you.
This
Murder
whole
you.
thing of, like, we're married.
Slanging pussy for marriage.
And I'm very grateful for it.
Yeah.
But I had accepted that we weren't going to get married. He didn't want
I
to
didn't
get
want
married.
to at all. I was like,
Yeah.
fuck that.
And I was cool with that.
Yeah.
Like, because I love him and I want to be with him. I don't need, marriage. I know, right? I don't need fucking marriage to validate my fucking relationship.
Yeah.
This whole thing of if you don't propose, if I don't get a ring on my finger by
People get
this
fucked up about
date,
that.
I'm leaving, is
Yeah.
fucking insane. Like, are you only dating this person for a ring?
Lot
Because,
of
bitch, go
times.
buy yourself one.
If you don't love me in accordance with the system, you don't love me.
Right.
I feel a lot of people need that validation of a relationship because they can't love themselves. They can't fucking take care of themselves without
Yeah.
that other person. So without that, they're like, I am nothing.
Yeah,
And
what
you
will
are
people
causing me
say if
Right.
we're not
So
married?
if that happens, I want to marry the chick, but then have like a prenup
Yeah.
that like says I get everything.
Fuck yeah.
Say, look, if you
Ooh,
love
yeah.
me and you really want this marriage, sign that shit.
Uh-huh.
Hell
I'm taking
yeah.
your
That's right.
dog too.
Yes.
Your little dog too. So okay, I want to bring something up because I haven't
was
brought it up in the last fucking 2 weeks in the episodes, right? So I saved it towards the end
Hang
so
on, wait,
nobody
let me-
has to
can I
sit
guess
through
what
it.
it is?
Oh yeah, no, if you read my paper, fuck you.
He didn't.
I didn't. No, I don't want to guess anymore.
Oh.
No. I didn't.
for it.
I was hoping something would pop in. I figure, Adam's trends will pop in, but now I got nothing.
Yeah.
You haven't talked about it for a while?
Yeah. I haven't talked about it because
about
I didn't bring it
rapping?
up. No. This
Is
is
it
an
about
entirely
building
new
shit
subject.
with your hands?
Uh-uh.
Is it about...
You want me to just tell you?
Yeah.
Oh, man. I really wanted to see if you'd guess it. I was excited about the guessing.
Sorry, man.
Well, if you come up with something, just spout it out before I say the something.
How long is it
right?
going to take you to say
I
that?
don't
know,
know. Look at
that's
my
what I was
paper, you piece of shit.
Yeah. You
Okay.
piece of shit.
So, like 2 weeks ago, no, it's been like about a
Daddy,
month
you
ago,
shithead.
right?
Where's my bourbon?
About a month ago, dude. I was in the midst of falling asleep, right?
Oh,
And this
yeah.
goes far beyond like just vividly dreaming.
Yeah.
I was falling asleep, right? And I was in this state, like between my body
Could
was
you
like
say silent lucidity?
no. It was
band is
entirely
that?
crazy different, right?
Yeah.
While I was falling into sleep, I could feel my body buzzing, almost like I thought I was having a heart attack. So I get right on the verge of this. It was overwhelming, this buzz, and I'm like, I was conscious of the fact that I was falling asleep, right? My whole body, I could feel it. Parts were going, like I was disconnecting. Like it felt like somebody was ripping my head off, disconnecting me from my body.
God. Drink them brains.
So I get scared, and I kind of was apprehensive, and I was like, fuck that, I don't want nothing to do with it. And I pulled myself out a little bit. Then I thought, like, let's treat this like a trip. I was like, just, give into it and let it happen.
Ride it out, boy.
So this buzz, man, it just overwhelming buzz. I thought I was going to fucking die. And I'm like, well, we'll see what happens, right? Sure enough.
Fuck doing something to fix it.
The buzzing stops completely. And I'm in the same exact spot on the floor that I was before I fell asleep during this, right? But the colors had all changed. The table had disappeared. There was no TV. There was just a couch that I was laying next to and Sarah. Laying down, right? And it didn't dawn on me for a few seconds, but I told myself, I was like, I'm fucking dreaming. Like I didn't, I was like, this isn't normal. I'm dreaming. So it's like, okay, if I'm dreaming, I hold up my hands and I could hold them up, and I was looking at them. I was like, well, produce a glass of water. So I produced a glass of water. And then I was like, well, drain the water, but don't pour it out. Just drain it. And it was empty. Then I was like, fill it back up. I was like, okay, well, what if I want my ID to tell who I am? Well, from the corner, out pops a fucking ID, and I catch it in my hand, and I'm looking at it, and I'm like, it was the coolest fucking thing I'd ever experienced, even far beyond like a
lucid
like a mushroom
dreaming.
Trip. No, well, yeah, astral projection.
Yeah.
So beforehand, it was better than any fucking trip I'd had because I was completely in control. But it was like this. There was no pain, no back pain, no thoughts, no nothing. It was so calm and relaxing. It was just so, I can't even explain it. It's fucking hard to explain. But so I got too excited. Yeah. But better. Because I could control it. Yeah. Euphoric. Very euphoric. And so
like a pain-free life.
I got too excited, and I woke up, and I was desperately trying to get back there.
Yeah.
So I was like, wow, I looked into it a little bit for like, it was out-of-body experience and astral projection. And it's a thing. It just happened to me, but it was a thing that you can actually practice and eventually do. And then I happened 2 more times. One time where I had gotten out of my body and I floated to the ceiling, but I couldn't get past that, right?
Yeah.
Well, the last time, dude, we were in bed at night. And I woke up and I was like, all right, we'll try to get out of your body. It was the hardest thing for me to get up out of my body. Yeah. And I got up out of my body and I was like, well, if this is a true dream, I can float into the door and go through it without breaking it. Yeah. And dude, she said I was making these insane noises.
Yeah, he was.
Because I was so excited. I'm like, I got out of my body. This is a real thing happening.
I used to wake him up when he'd make sounds like that because it would be a nightmare, and I'd wake him up and get him out of it. Yeah. But since he started doing this shit, I don't wake him up. Because
now he's in it.
Yeah, if that's what he's doing, I don't want to fuck it up. Like if he's in another fucking realm, like
I was transcending, damn it.
Yeah, dude. And right as I was getting through the door, I didn't know this, but she said she was shaking me. But I get through the door and I'm on the outside of the door, and I'm like, holy shit, I went through it. Her shaking me, I could physically, and I mean, you could feel everything in there. You can't hear much because it's all quiet and blissful. Yeah. But I got sucked into my body, and I woke up there. I fucking was like, whoa. What happened? Because I could I felt myself, because you're separate from yourself, but I can still see my nose in front of me, my hands, my body. Yeah. It was just a new perspective in that sense. And I look back onto me and her sleeping. Like I could see it. I could see us sleeping on the out. It was beyond explainable. Yeah. But I could feel myself being sucked back into my body.
Sunshine of the Spotless Mind.
Damn it! Is it? Well, the reason I'm bringing this up towards the end is because I want you to look into astral projection, and I want to talk about it in a later podcast or another. We'll go in depth into what it is, what it does to our conscious or our subconscious, what that's about and shit. Because it has opened my eyes, and every single I'm like a drug addict when it comes to this astral projection. I want it so bad. It's unbelievable, bro. You should try it. Like looking into it and doing it.
But I mean, I've dabbled, but I haven't really dug in, and I certainly don't practice.
Well, try to start practicing shit. I'm telling you, man. I need somebody who also does it. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's truly amazing and blissful and quiet.
Astral projectors
painless.
out there, give us a call.
Yeah. If you know anything about it, please hit us up because I want to know.
But do it right now, not later.
Yeah, now. When I shook him and he all crazily woke up and shit, he rolled over and instantly started writing. I
didn't say a fucking word. I was like,
I thought he
gotta
fell
get it
back
out.
to sleep like this.
Yeah.
I seriously thought he fell asleep leaning over the bed. You okay?
My hand smells funny.
Oh, fuck you. I thought you, like, bit your tongue or
I
something.
don't know why. I was cutting onions this morning, but
that's probably
I've washed my hands since then.
But
No, that's what it is.
No,
Onions
that's,
stay on there forever.
I turn right around because I'm trying to get better at that. So even if I don't astral project and I'm just like having a dream that I vividly remember, I'll turn right over and I'll start writing because it gets you in the habit of being conscious in those dreams. But the last time that I did it, when I was able to get out of my body and outside of the house, I swear it's insane, dude. Because every detail you can see, and it's like being awake and visually seeing everything, even your nose, like everything's there and you can feel it, but you're detached from your body. And when I got outside, like before it all happened, when you come to the realization that you're dreaming, it is one of the best feelings in the world because you're like,
awesome.
I'm fucking, and you can hear yourself say it, like I'm fucking dreaming.
Yeah.
And
The
it's
possibilities are endless.
Yeah.
fucking endless.
Let's
dude.
get it.
And the better you get at it, the more you can do, the more you can present, and all this shit. Look it up because I do want to talk about it at a different podcast and like the specifics of it. But try to start practicing it as well because it's very interesting, dude. There's something there,
Yeah, hell yes.
but we just have to
Something.
look into it. I'd like to have somebody else to like.
Hey, then we can eat like some African dream root or whatever, and then we can go on an adventure together.
Is that because I know there's an herb that you can buy and eat that helps you lucid dream. Is that a real thing?
Oh, I don't know. I was thinking of Supernatural whenever they go into Bobby's dream.
It's like every Chinese movie. Martial artist movie.
I know I have an app on my phone, of course. Yeah, it's a bunch of on my phone. It's a bunch of scholarly articles, so I can just access whatever I want to read about. And I looked up astral projection, and there's a shit ton. Like they've been scientifically studying it for a long fucking time. It was crazy to me that they're doing that. I love
Curiosity's there.
Hell yeah.
I just think that there's so much that because we have a default mode network in our brain, right? That it's pretty much what has rendered us from seeing all the molecules that are floating around all at one time. We only see the things that really matter to us that are going to keep us alive, for survival, for whatever. Well, there's so much that your subconscious processes and so much in the background that you don't notice that you can, like, that's a lot of people. What is it? Tesla, Einstein, all these great thinkers did astral projection. They found a lot of their projects that they
ideas
couldn't
and
figure
stuff.
out. They would present in a dream and work it out there and then bring it into the real world. So I think there's so much there that we can unlock. But it's just been shut down. We don't fuck with our conscious anymore, our subconscious. We don't do it. We shut it down.
Because didn't you say that when you're there, like your ego's dead, like it's not.
Yeah, I don't
there.
have any of that thought.
That's exactly why you could work through your inventions, problems, and stuff like that. Yeah, because you can just objectively look at it, and you're not worrying about, what do I look like doing this? What's this person thinking about me? This is going to make it fail. I know it is, so I should just stop. Like, all that stuff's not there.
Yeah.
That's a great idea.
I didn't think about it. It's funny what all the ego gets in the way of, especially
Fucking everything.
because we were this other book that I'm reading. They were talking about look, for instance, like Steve Jobs putting in money for the Segway, and then the Segway ended up being this huge loss. Like he lost millions on the deal, and the thing is because he had a success pattern. You know what I mean?
Would you say it was a success bias?
Yeah, it's called
something like
survival bias, right?
Yeah.
So you base recent projects and recent winnings on past winnings. So you believe whatever you believe in that's good with your intuition will win no matter what, because you have all these successes.
I scrambled and wrote this awesome paper in a day.
Yeah.
I'm going to succeed on this.
No matter what. Whatever I say is gold.
Covered, cut.
And we don't notice we do it, but our intuition really plays into that ego. And I think that stems back to what you were saying. Like, if you let the ego get in the way of a project or the problems of a project, you'll never figure it out.
Right.
Because you're basing it on what has worked in the past, not what can work now. And that's what we were talking about, like keeping that naive mind to all the possibility. Like, think like a kid. Like, make it happen. Like,
Right.
They say that a kid lives in the subconscious until like 7 or 8. Like, they live without an ego and all that till 7 or 8. Like, that's where we need to go back to. Shut it all down. They don't have a default
Shut it
mode
down.
network.
Shut it down. Shut it down.
Because when like most of the time for activity in the brain, they test for like blood flow. So when you go through a process, whatever the blood flows most to, that's what you're activating your mind. When you take a psychedelic, none of that happens. There's just low blood flow in the default mode network, meaning that when you take a psychedelic, you shut that down and then you open up the child brain. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
that
the whole
thoughtful
rest
fucking,
of that shit. It's
Yeah.
not just. It's like being on autopilot and turning that
Turn it
shit
off.
off.
Yeah.
Yeah, and
I'm taking
having
the
full
wheel.
control. Yeah.
Yeah. And that's something that was crazy. Like, that's the only thing that they can tell is that we suppress our default mode network, which is a group of 4, I think, that we use daily. It's just 4 parts of the brain that just repetitive.
It gets you to work. It gets you home. It helps you work. It
Helps you blink
Yeah.
and breathe.
Right.
But if you could shut that down completely while you're on a project, thinking of like, what's going to work, and what do I like? You know, you shut that ego down completely, because that's where the ego lies, is in the default mode network. It's what's comfortable. It's what I know works.
It'd be really interesting if you had like a general idea for something that you wanted to build or accomplish anything, and have a solid, like, basic bare bone structure of what it is, and just trip dick while you try and fucking figure out the issues and get it all together.
Yeah.
I mean, see how that goes. That's
Funny
a solid
that-
idea.
A lot of people. So you have 2
We're
types.
doing that tonight, right?
Yeah.
You have 2 types of people in Silicon Valley. You have the person that takes all the what's the amphetamine?
Adderall.
Adderall. They're all hooked on Adderall and shit. Well, then you have another subset of people, a lot of them that microdose either LSD or mushrooms. All of them do it. Like, it's a huge
Yeah.
thing.
All these sons of bitches.
Yeah,
Hell yeah.
it's a huge thing in the community because that's how they work through their ideals and that's how they open their brain to more. A lot of them fucking take that. I didn't know that they all microdose like
That's
that.
fucking neat.
But they do it so that they can get out of that default mode and stop thinking about what's won in the past and what are we going to create now? How are we going to move forward?
Right.
So there's something in it, man. The subconscious, there's a lot of answers within the subconscious that we just
Absolutely.
refuse to see. You know what I mean?
Well, if you could always
Indeed.
access it, if you could readily, I guess I shouldn't say
Oh, I know,
always,
if I
if you
could do it
could
every night.
readily access it, yeah, imagine the possibilities of what you could accomplish, what you could do, anything.
Be fucking insane.
Yeah.
I'm telling you.
Yeah.
I'd
And then
love to live in this world that you're talking about.
She'll get there, simmer down.
Show me. Like, I'm going to lead you there.
I'm gonna hopefully
Take my hand, young one.
hopefully I can get enough practice to where I can do it, you know, at least like every other day. The thing that I'm practicing on now is not getting overly excited within it, because if you do, your body is signaled to wake up, like
Yeah.
to like it's time to wake up.
As I told him, he needs to try, and which it's easier said than done, but try
When
to
you're in it, yeah.
convince himself that, oh, this is just something I do all the time, whatever. It's like going to the fucking bank. It's just something that you're doing. So that way you're not like,
Oh yeah.
I'm here. Like,
That's like after I got out of the door and past that, like I was just like, fuck yes.
yeah.
But the funny thing is, with each one that I get a little further out of my body. Like, I've never been able to stand up out of my body and look back. And the last one I did, and it beyond.
It seems reasonable though. Like, the better you get at that, like, knowing that you're like in a dream thing. Like, that'll bring you closer to that kid mind that you're about. Because, once you realize that you're dreaming, then you wake up and it's like, oh, you fucking conscious, like, ego stupid shit, but then.
Ego stupid shit.
Yeah. Ego stupid shit.
If you,
It's
get better at squashing that, then you're good.
When you do it in like the daylight and stuff, when you go into it, all the colors are so warm and inviting and loving and just, it's very blissful and peaceful. It's harmonious. And then when you slowly come back into your body and you're waking up, everything, you don't notice it right now, but everything has a grayish blue tint to it.
Yeah.
But when you're in the thing, it's all like oranges and browns and stuff like reds and stuff.
I was thinking it's like
folly.
Pure gray.
Yeah.
I can see the shit.
Shit.
Yeah.
That's the big difference between that and subconscious. I feel like everything there is warm and inviting, where the world's kind of like, it's dismal and gray.
But you said at night though, it's not the same.
No, at night it's dark,
Yeah.
but it's like the brightest moon is out. When you go outside and you can see around because the moon's so bright.
It's dark, but
That's
it's a
what
radiant darkness.
Yeah.
And on the ceilings and stuff, there was like, the reflection off water at night. It goes up on a dark ceiling and you see it, the reflection.
Fuck yeah.
That's what it was like when I woke up. Or when I was in the fucking dream state, I could see like the water look on the ceiling, and I was like, I'm fucking dreaming, dude.
Hell
But
yeah.
it's like, but everywhere is like the brightest moon. You don't have to be outside.
Do
to
you
see
ever
that.
think like, while I'm in here, if I invest in Microsoft in the past, it'll transfer.
Fuck yes. Hell yeah.
That is awesome.
It's a
I'd be
great
happy
idea.
about
That's
Damn it,
funny.
man.
Yeah.
Is that was that another motherfucking episode of Wildly Uninteresting?
Yeah. Save
I think
the
it was.
koalas.
You didn't even hit record.
Oh, dude, fuck you.
Got
Oh,
him.
It's not like it's never happened, motherfucker. Damn, dude, I'd be so fucking pissed. We'd be
Right, like he's
just
been
going off the
holding
video.
it. Yeah, like he's just been holding it in. I'm gonna wait till
I'd
the
just
end.
wait until the end.
That was a trial run.
I'd be
now
so
repeat
mad.
all of that.
All of it. I have a basic guideline that wouldn't do that well.
No, it would be like a 10-minute video.
Oh yeah, it would be nothing.
Yeah.
No, but we do appreciate our listeners, and any advice that y'all can give would help.
Save the koalas.
Save them.
We need a guest show on Joe Rogan. So if everybody could just like and share and get us on
yeah.
that show, that'd be awesome.
That's right.
Our guys we fucked, I'd be on that show too if I could. Really, any show, I'll take.
Anything?
But either way it goes, man, we appreciate everybody listening. Like, share, comment, do whatever you do. That was the 43rd episode of Wildly Uninteresting.
43.
Thanks for tuning in.
Quattro trace,
Ba-da-ba-ba-doo-doo,
skibbity-bop-bop,
bo-ba-da-bo-do-bo,
scat,
ba-ba-ba-ba. Wildly Uninteresting podcast.
Sting.